Here.
Cindy Holland.
Here.
Rick Deerwester.
Here. Okay, and any additions or deletions to the agenda?
I have a couple of deletions.
Okay.
On the back, under the clerk treasurer section, the fire contract and public safety fund, I'd like to remove that, and we'll table it till next month.
Okay.
I still have a meeting later on this week. We're still gathering information on that.
Okay. So 2 and 3 are tabled. And then I'd like to add to 7B1 to change the meeting time for the redevelopment committee. Any other additions? All right, we have a motion to accept the additions and deletions.
I'd like a motion to accept the
Second.
agenda with the changes.
Okay. Larry, you
Second.
second.
Mary, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Okay. Approval of the minutes for February 9th, 2021 regular meetings. And I get a motion to approve as they are.
So moved.
All right, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I abstained, I wasn't here.
Right, okay. All right, 6 claims and transfers.
All right, from the general fund, we had $119,676.82 this month.
Okay. I have a motion to accept that.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, from the water, $58,008.36.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
From wastewater, $75,328.05.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then the payroll, the allowance docket was $46,754.11.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you, Kelly. Communications, Town Marshal.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're starting out the year with new officers, new adventures, especially with the snowstorm. We had our first significant snowstorm last month. Right now, we're up to calls for service, 387 calls for service, 32 agency assists, 190 police services so far, 33 traffic arrests, with 22 moving, over 108 warnings already. 16 crashes worked. We've had 4 warrant services, 15 misdemeanor arrests, 6 felony arrests. 4 of those were drugs. Got 563 traffic patrol hours and 491 criminal patrol hours. I've already driven 17,393 miles. We're short right now on reserves. We've got, I don't know if anybody knows, but we've got one of ours just recently got hired by the Putnam County Sheriff's Department, one of our reserve officers, Todd Hopkins. So with Levi going to Morgan County and Todd going, apparently we're getting some really good officers here that are being sought after by other agencies. So we've been working that. Virgil? Where'd Virgil go? We have found a dog,
Oh, cool.
and you want to talk about the dog a little bit. Oh, you're pointing to the dog. Okay, so we've got a unique situation here because dog handler, dog trainer. Sam Fogel, who is our newest reserve, is also the canine trainer. And tell them a little bit about our dog that we've identified here.
All right, so he is a 17-month-old Belgian Malinois. He's trained in narcotics detection, tracking, apprehension, personal protection. He's going through a AWDA certification, which is a very common certification for most police dogs in the country. I and my boss have both personally dealt with him quite a lot, and Virgil's been around him some now.
You guys speak up, yeah, they can hear you on the mics here, so be nice.
Myself and Virgil have both worked with him quite a bit, and Virgil's been around him some, and he's going to work out very great for the town. He's on the major 6 narcotics, so he'll do great for the town.
So he's road ready, pretty much turnkey ready. Virgil's had a couple days working with him. So we worked out, what I've got is a purchase agreement with Bombardian Kennels. We're going to do a $7,000 down payment. I got to have the council's approval to do the initial payment. And then we've got a payment plan over the next 6 months because we've got some commitments out of the community that, once again, this is all donation based or to the police department. And we've got several of the businesses and stuff around that are willing to donate for the dogs. So we'll collect and make the balance of those payments. The total price on dog is $10,500 for a trained Belgian Malinois who can do all the stuff that we need him to do. So we just need to get the approval of council, and we're going to spend it out of police donation funds to purchase that dog.
Okay.
So that's one I need to get an approval for that.
Can you climb trees?
Yes.
If you're up in the
Yes.
tree, you'll do what you can to get to
Larry would like to test it.
it. No, I can't climb.
I just think it's amazing that 17 months they train, I mean, when did they start training? At what age?
We started him at 5 months old.
Really?
Yes,
That's
sir.
amazing.
And he's from overseas.
He is from, we got him from Florida. He is actually from overseas, yes. The person that we got him from overseas.
Right.
So,
All right, gonna make a motion that we go ahead and approve the payment of $7,000, is that right?
The initial payment is $7,000, we'll pay the balance over the next 6 months.
Okay.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay? And then the second thing that we've got, of course, it all involves money, right? That's what happens when you run an agency. So we've got one of our reserve vehicle, right now we've topped out, it's over 105,000 miles on it. Ken Goldman is here. We've got another organization that's wanting to purchase that vehicle. As is from us, we're going to strip our equipment out of it and take the decals off. But essentially then, Kent's vehicle, his 2017 Ford Explorer, we're looking to purchase it. It's about a $30-some thousand vehicle, but when we do the trade off, it'll be $28,000 that we would finance. I talked to First National Bank, Gary, today, and he said that they'd be more than willing to do a lease program where the first payment would be due for like a year. But it'd be a 3-year lease, so it'd be about $9,000 a year. And his comes fully equipped. We just got to swap radios out is the only thing, but it's already because he's been using it here. So we'll take his radio out and put the radio from the car that we're getting rid of. So we need to get approval for that.
How long do you think that car will last? I mean, history showing how many
Yes,
miles?
we'll have a good probably 4 to 5 years out of that particular car.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's in pretty much mint. In fact, you don't have it here tonight, do you?
No, but it's an excellent
Yeah.
Should be, yes.
That's the one the town's been leasing from Kent since he's had it, and he only puts miles on it coming to work here, so that's.
Kelly, did we decide about lease to purchase? It might be.
I don't have any hard numbers, one way or the other.
All right.
You're actually buying it on a payment plan with a $1 buyout at the end of the plan.
Okay.
And it,
So it would be better to lease.
Kent actually talked to Gary later today. You want to talk to that a little bit, Kent?
When I talked to Gary, as far as rates go, probably less than 3%. I looked at the numbers that based on 28.5, just to be on the high side. The annual payment would be around $9,500 or less. Interest is based on about $142 a year, so it's going to be pretty expensive. Based on the interest one they're doing with it. Buyout again, like I said, is $1.
Yeah.
Payments are in the rear, so you get to have it for a whole year before you have to make the first payment on it, which is a pretty good program. Now, a lot of banks can do that. But
Yeah.
with Cloverdale and First National, your relationship there, one to step up to that.
And I'm guessing they're gonna use public safety money for the lease. payment.
Yes, yes.
Think it's there? Yeah. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Who was the second? I'm sorry.
Greg.
Okay, and then, yeah, I think the approval does for this evening. Otherwise, let's see. Any questions for the police? Yes.
Is there any way that I could talk to the people that train that dog?
He's sitting right there. Right there.
Okay, no, after a while, 'cause I was married for 53.5 years, and I never did get her trained.
Let's start going.
And moon.
I need to know.
All right, thank you, Steve.
Yes, thank you.
And thanks, Ken. Fire chief, thanks. Glad you're here.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try to make as many as I can, but I have grandkids that are starting sports, so, you know.
Do you wanna call
Can I get you to come
Yeah.
up here? Yeah, thanks for coming, appreciate it.
All right. I'll give you, run reports for January and February. I can get you breakdown for last week later on, but January, we had 56 total runs, 27 were in the town. February, we had 58 runs, 24 was in the town. And I can get you a breakdown later on, if you want a breakdown of what we lost, but. Like I said, I'll try to make some meetings, if I can, if I can't make them, I can shoot the numbers to Steve or somebody, or top them all.
Or you can send a rep too, if you if you have somebody.
Yeah, I can't get them guys to speak.
Understood, no problem.
Got any questions for me about anything?
I think Kelly is gonna get with Pat pretty soon.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a meeting tomorrow.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
okay.
All right,
All right, thank you.
that was easy. Painful. Painful, that's what I like it.
Okay, I added that number one after fire chief there. We're gonna change the meeting time on the redevelopment committee to, I think it was 3 o'clock. We're gonna change it to 7 o'clock on the fourth Thursday of every month. Can I get a motion to make that change?
But we're still meeting.
We're meeting Thursday for a kickoff.
Oh,
Yes, at 3 o'clock, yes.
Make that motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Town Manager.
First of all, I apologize for messing around with my phone. I think we're live. This is our first time, Kelly and I, first time doing this on Facebook, and I think we're live. It says we're live on Facebook, but that's why I was trying to text with Sam to see if that was actually coming through or not, so I apologize for texting you during your meeting. First thing I wanted to bring up was I had been working on your boards and commissions. We had several, I actually went through the minutes to actually determine who still served in each term in each of the boards and commissions that you guys do appoint. Some are appointed by the president himself, some are appointed by the council. I prepared that. You should have copies of all that. If you don't, I have extra copies here. But you do have Board of Zoning Appeals, Planning Commission, Park Board appointments, Redevelopment Commission, a Stormwater Board, and then you also have appointments to the Putnam County Visitor and Convention Bureau. I've not gotten confirmation on who those appointments are. I did go back through the minutes to determine that we did have 3 people that were appointed recently, as recently as 19 and then 2 in 2020. But I'm not even sure exactly how many board members you do appoint and what those terms are. So I will hopefully have those to you at the next meeting. I did rebuild this to the best of my ability. It appears that a lot of appointments did not actually either come through the council or were not, if they were appointed by the president, never came through the council, so they weren't even in the minutes. So I went through the best of my ability, and I believe these to be correct, what I presented to you. So if you wanted to look through those, there's one appointment that needs to be made by the to the Board of Zoning Appeals. That is a January 1st, 2021, which is the beginning of this year until December 31st of 2024. That is a plan commission appointment, that the plan commission, you must serve on the plan commission, and the council appoints. So it needs to be someone from the plan commission. Then on the plan commission itself, I show that there are 2 vacancies. One that would have started last year that never got appointed, that is a presidential appointment. Then also one that started January 1st of this year, that would be a town council appointment. That must be someone related to the town, whether it be a town council member, or it could be an employee, it could be someone that works in the office, it could be anybody related to the town. Park board appointments appear to be up to date, so there was nothing there. The redevelopment commission, it appears that that is appointed every year annually for a 1-year term, so there would be the need for 5 appointments. And if you do have names tonight, and I think maybe you do have names prepared, that would allow us to have our meeting on Thursday. School board appointment, they will actually have an appointment. As soon as you get this board filled, I'm gonna contact the superintendent and ask them for them to appoint somebody to that's a non-voting member to the redevelopment commission, but it is statutory, so we do need to get that taken care of.
So that, okay.
Mhm. And then stormwater board, that seems to be filled out entirely. I also did put a list of names of some folks that had served on some of these boards previously. I don't know if they're interested, but those were just names that I found as I was going back through the minutes that had served. It appeared that their terms had ended at some point, but just so you know who might be interested. I think a couple of those names are no longer even in town, but I went ahead and put anybody that I found in the minutes. So I don't know, at this point, I don't know if you guys have any appointments that you'd like to make tonight, but I feel pretty comfortable this is based on the minutes from the last, I went back about 5 years actually, to try and rebuild it.
These appointments, I think, have to be done every year. But the first, it's supposed to be, the first meeting of the year, it's supposed to be reappointed.
Correct.
The people want it.
Correct. I recommend, and what I'd like to get back on as a routine, is that in November, I'll bring to you a list of appointments that need to be made, that you have all of November to December, make that appointment to officially start January 1st. So there's no gap in that serving on that board or commission. So that's the way I'd like to proceed with it in the future. In the past, it doesn't appear that we actually kept them based on terms. And it really needs to be based on terms, because these are staggered terms. So come next November, what I'll come to you with is a term on the Board of Zoning Appeals, or a term on the Plan Commission, or whatever it may be, so you can fill that term. You're not filling a vacancy. Now, if somebody resigns in that meantime, they're vacating that term, not necessarily a position on that board, but that term. So we should have good information to give to you every time there's a vacancy, and I'll keep a running list of this, and it'll be provided to Kelly. Obviously, she needs a permanent record, but I think we'll get back on track with these.
Larry, you're still interested? For the stormwater?
Actually, it's the president, and then we have 2 citizens.
You pick your own officers, don't you? On the board?
Yes.
Okay. But we can appoint you as a member of it.
Well, there's only 3 people on it.
Yeah, is all of them going to be back on?
Yes, they were when I talked with them last year.
So we could appoint those much.
The stormwater,
Yeah.
it's already filled.
Yeah.
But they have
they've already been
they have to be
appointed.
reappointed though.
They've already been appointed.
No, they just were.
They're for a term of 4 years, it appears. The one that's appointed every year would be the redevelopment commission.
But I think every member has to be reappointed every year, regardless of their term. No?
What you're appointed for that period of time. And then you have to be appointed to, after your term is up.
It's been done long in the past then.
So can we go ahead and appoint for redevelopment at this point?
You sure?
Okay. Well, I think the president has 2 to appoint in redevelopment.
3.
Okay. I'd like to appoint David Fish, he happens to be here tonight for the redevelopment. And we have to vote on that, or just appoint?
It's your call.
Okay. And then another gentleman, Scott Bailey, I called him today. He couldn't be here tonight, but he will be here Thursday. And then I was gonna appoint Gary Bennington. And I would not mind being on that board, but that has to come by town council vote.
There are 2 town council vacancies.
Jason, would you be on that?
I cannot serve.
Did not-
You must live in the corporate office. I plan to be there.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Okay, I'd like to nominate Rick.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay. So that gives us 4 right off. Was this the one that could be from the school board?
Yes.
Non-voter?
It is. The school board will actually make that appointment.
Okay.
They'll-
So can you get with them and
Yes.
see? Okay. That'll give us our 5? Or
Actually, I think,
We still need one more
Yeah.
council appointment.
council?
So the council needs to make one more motion to appoint someone to that group.
Or if you want
is that,
to. We thought maybe you could only have 2 from the town.
I didn't read anywhere in there that it mattered.
Good.
Yeah, I think you got it.
Well, I would appoint Larry, I mean,
I will check on that again.
Yeah,
For
sure.
some reason, we're in error,
Okay.
but I don't recall reading that. I read most of the redevelopment information.
I think it was about 2.
okay. So we'll meet at 3 o'clock Thursday, and then go to the regular 4 Thursdays. Okay, yes, sir.
I was under the understanding that if you held a board position in the town of Cloverdale, you couldn't hold another position if you were on the town board. Am I wrong? That's what I was told years ago.
I know what Indiana, or at least Indiana code regard to serving on 2 more elected or appointed positions if they're lucrative.
Redevelopment doesn't pay anything.
No, redevelopment had it too. Take
So-
2 elected officials, or elected people. Anybody that was elected, would be 2 of them to be on the board.
Because it's not a paid position.
What brought that up? I'm a park board president, and at one time I was gonna run for the board, and they said, well, you can't do that and hold a park board position too.
You can't.
You can.
If it's lucrative, but it's the key word. If now town council is lucrative, park board, I don't think you compensated you, okay. You would be able to serve,
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad that cleared up.
Thank you.
unless specifically in statute, again, about redevelopment commission. But again, I don't think I read that anywhere. I read quite a bit of the manual in regards to that.
Okay.
You can reappoint Larry or John if he wants to be on the board.
He's already on that. Park board's good, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Good. Park board.
I'm all right for now until I retire again.
You gotta quit doing that, or you're just not doing it right, one or the other.
So the only 2 that you have left are 1 board of zoning appeals and 2 planning commission. And it doesn't have to be appointed tonight unless you're ready to.
And before they go on, do they have to vote on those
They-
2
they
town
need-
council
they
appointments
do need
for the redevelopment?
Okay. Can I get a motion on the appointees for the redevelopment commission?
So Larry made a motion, Larry made a motion to nominate Rick, and Gary seconded it.
Yeah.
And then Rick nominated Larry, but there was no second, and we haven't had a vote for either one of those.
Okay. Can I-
second.
Okay, is
Okay.
that good?
You can vote.
You need to vote.
Oh,
All in favor?
good.
So, yeah,
Get a
so-
motion.
so- Yeah, Larry nominated Rick, and Gary seconded it.
Okay.
So you need to vote for yourself.
All right. Make a motion for appointing myself.
Sorry.
All right, second?
you already got your second. You
Yeah,
just
the
did
motion
vote.
Oh,
is.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're gonna leave
Okay,
it.
then you need to vote for Larry.
Okay, and make a motion to have Larry appointed.
There's already a
That's
motion and a
what
second.
I mean,
Yeah, you just need a vote.
Okay,
All
all in
of
favor?
us said yes.
Sorry.
Okay. Gary, what was your vote on that one?
For Larry.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I might have to put this over here.
Right up here.
Okay, sorry,
Good?
now, yeah, now you can go on to
Okay,
this.
no, thank you. Okay, you got planning and zoning?
Yeah, we have the Board of Zoning Appeals. This is a member from the Plan Commission, and the council will appoint. So our current Plan Commission members would be Cindy Holland, James McKee, Roy Lotz, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Lotz,
I think.
okay, Greg J., and Rachel Scott. So you could,
James McGee's not gonna be on?
No, James, I think will be there, yes.
yeah, his term ends at the end of this year, so he's still got another year.
How many got all together then for the plan commission?
Five of the seven.
Read those again.
Cindy Holland, James McKee, Roy Lotz, Greg J., and Rachel Scott.
Has anyone talked to Roy?
No.
I know his health's not.
It's not getting out much right now.
Is the board still on?
He was in the hospital, I spoke to Bart.
You, Rob was?
I don't make those decisions.
I shall borrow my
Oh,
motion.
she's BJA.
Yes. All right, what'd you say, David, about Rob?
Roy Lotz.
Roy Lotz.
He was in the hospital last month.
Okay.
He's out now, but he's not getting out much right
Okay. So do we need to?
He said he would attend meetings
Wait.
as much
Okay.
as he could.
I'd wait. yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
So you do a bill to January 1, 2020 to December 31st, 2023 spot.
That's already 1 year into that term already.
Yeah.
So this is actually for a 3-year term. The council president appointment is just a 3-year term.
Okay. I don't have anybody, Mom, do you know of anyone, Greg?
Is that the 3-year term, is that, don't they all go to 4-year then, but still staggered?
They're all on 4-year right now.
So we're looking for what now, BZA or the plan?
Whichever you
Both?
want.
Okay. We have anyone in the audience that wants to volunteer?
It's probably, I mean, if you're not ready to make the appointment,
Yeah, well,
you don't have to.
Yeah, I think you better table it.
Yeah.
We can.
But I know we've got something that is gonna need at least plan commission action very, very soon.
What, can,
So I
you can't be on it?
He's out of town.
I don't
He's out.
think they can. Now, we've got 5 members there now, we could have a meeting. I just would recommend probably having a full slate.
If we show up.
Yeah, because if you don't, you need to 100% attendance.
The school board ought to make 6.
Yeah, that's on,
That's an
Oh, they're already working on that.
Well, I think we just tabled BZA and planning, so.
Okay.
we get,
I just encourage you to have something before
Yeah.
next meeting, because I know we're gonna need a plan commission very soon, so.
Okay, all right.
Which will bring me to something else here in a minute. So.
Okay. Okay. Sidewalk repair, is that where we're at?
Well, I was gonna actually do planning and zoning real
Oh,
quick.
go ahead.
This is just something I wanted to bring up as a possibility, and this is just a talking point at this point. We have, the town of Cloverdale has its own planning and zoning, we have a comprehensive plan, we administer our own planning and zoning now. I have had conversations with the Putnam County Planning and Zoning Director about the possibility of the county administering our zoning. Now, I want to stress, when I say this, that does not mean the county takes over our zoning. We would still have our own plan commission, we would still have our own board of zoning appeals. There's no authority given up whatsoever by doing this. And I will tell you, I did this, or we did this in Bainbridge, and it worked really well. you have somebody at the county that is very knowledgeable with planning and zoning, and if you've seen our zoning ordinance, it's pretty thick. And that same person does your building permits as well. So oftentimes, when somebody's there to do a building permit, a lot of times they're also doing planning and zoning at the same time, especially if they're building and they need to know setbacks. So a lot of this is hand in hand. I just threw the idea out there. I know that the county planning and zoning director, Lisa Viner, I don't know if you know Lisa, she used to be with the Board of Health, was receptive to the idea. But I just wanted to throw this idea out there. I'm not expecting you to make a decision on this tonight. I just think it's something that might work well. It would just be an interlocal agreement between Putnam County and the town of Cloverdale, similar to what you did with your building permits. Now, if something ever came up and there was an issue that needed to go to the BZA, it's our BZA that makes all decisions.
But they would make a recommendation, or give their recommendation to
Yeah,
either
they walk through the entire process.
yeah, and then it would just be our planning commission that would vote on it, or our BZA with their recommendation, and it's all due to the recommendation. And basically, you're having someone who does this do it.
Right, and at no cost.
It does not cost us
Yeah.
anything. Now, any permit fees that we would normally have gotten would go to the county instead of us getting it. But in the same time, I suspect, I've not looked through all the financials, but I suspect that the cost of hiring a planning and zoning person like we've had in the past was substantially higher than any permit fees that we ever brought in. So I'm just throwing this idea out there as a possibility. I know we've kind of briefly, I talked to Mr. Shagley briefly about this, and I think I talked to you briefly about it, Rick. Just throwing the idea out there. If you want to talk to me about it further, I'd be glad to talk to you. Or I could probably get Lisa to come to a meeting, and she could probably, or the county attorney, Jim Inslee, I'm sure they would chat with us about it as well. I just think it's something that would be very beneficial. I know a great deal of my time, and I feel so bad for Kelly over the last 6 months. The number of calls you get on a daily basis, again, about planning and zoning is quite a bit, it really is. And digging through that ordinance, takes quite a bit of time to find what you're looking for. And you're not always giving accurate information.
This way, consistent.
Sure.
And then, again, if we have a different ordinance or something, they would follow ours.
Well,
It's all in there anyway.
Yeah, they're gonna be following, you just have somebody else administering our
Right.
rules.
Yeah.
And then if they need to make a change, whether it's a variance or a rezoning,
Right.
that, the county would make a recommendation to that board saying, we reviewed this, this is our recommendation, and then our group that you appoint would make the final decision. All you're doing is instead of hiring somebody to do that in-house, the county's gonna do it for free.
And again, like Jason's saying, we can table it for a month, we can have someone come in, or we can make a decision tonight. It's up to.
And the commissioners would have to approve it as well.
Yeah.
And it is an agreement with the county, so they would have to be.
Because some things are going on, it might be good to at least get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
We can work on that interlocal agreement, get that in place,
Okay.
and then you can approve it at the April meeting. And when did the Putnam County Commissioners meet?
They meet twice a month, I believe.
I think it's the first
Brent, you may know.
Monday.
Once a month, I think.
Is it once a month?
I'm not sure on that's a Jared question.
Okay. So we just want to table it?
Well, what you're saying, Richard, is that you would go ahead and get an agreement.
We'll go ahead and work on getting that agreement so that you can approve that at the April meeting. And then, depending on where their meeting falls, we would be up and running in April. And then we can go from there. That way we'll be ready for those calls. And it'd be good to have a place, we can put on our website, who to call for this.
Yeah.
It just takes a little bit of burden off the town, saves the town money, but at the same time, helps with administering our codes in a consistent, economical way.
A lot of people are calling the county anyway. I had a the county actually handling this only an issue for us today. So they already, a lot of people already do that, but.
And finding somebody to do this is not easy.
Okay.
So do you need that in a motion?
I would just, yeah, a motion to authorize us to move forward with entering into an agreement with, actually, I don't think we need, we'll start working on it, and then we'll bring an agreement to you in April.
Okay.
I have a question. I think in the past, maybe I'll wrong on this again, but if the BZA approved something, then I think it went to the plan commission to approve it. Then finally came to the council for final approval. I don't know if that's correct or not.
I guess there's some things that probably can, some go directly from the plan commission straight to the council. And I believe those are non-binding recommendations typically.
Yeah, the commissions, so the county would make a recommendation to the commission saying, yes, that property, it'd be good for that property to be rezoned from commercial to residential. That commission would review it, make a recommendation to this council, and ultimately this council would approve whether that property should be rezoned.
From the county.
From the county's recommendation to you, to the commission, and then to you.
Oh, to the BZA commission? Then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ultimately, on the rezoning, the city council or the town council would be the final say.
Okay. I don't know if I can backpedal here, but you gave me this for Bryce. He was looking for a position.
He said he would be interested in serving in some
Can we
capacity.
put him on BZA or?
That's whatever you.
I would appoint him then. Bryce Howell. He is marketing director for CMOC. He's going to get involved, so.
He lives here in town.
He does, good. I need a motion. Can I get a motion? The, what, BZA?
Plan commission. This is a plan,
Yeah.
council appointment?
Yes. So can I have a motion for Bryce on the planning?
Gary, make that motion.
Gary,
Motion.
second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, you were- I'm sorry.
I know you were listening here.
No.
Sidewalk repair.
Sorry. Sidewalk repair. If you're ready to take action on this too, that's fine. I spoke to Kelly. Our budget this year is pretty limited, but this is an item that I think needs to be addressed at some point. If you walk out this back door, and I don't know if you guys come in this,
Yeah.
this sidewalk is a disaster in my opinion. I did get a quote from Indiana Foundation Service. What they do is they call it slapjacking. I'm sure you're probably familiar with it if you're not. They come in and they'll spray a foam type material underneath it. They'll drill through the concrete, spray a foam material. It will raise it back up to where it's supposed to be. We do have a hazard there. Somebody's going to trip at some point, and I just dread the day when it happens. I did get a quote. I just got one quote, but I didn't even know if you guys even want to do this project. And this can hold off for a little while if you want to do that too. But I got a quote of $2,192. He advised me what the issue was the rain will hit this wall, come down, gets underneath, freezes, and it takes it up and down. He would, not only would they raise it up, this foam won't move once it's there, he says. And then they would also seal along the wall, so we shouldn't ever have this problem anymore. So,
Can I make one suggestion?
you may.
The little wall that goes down through there that's about this much higher than the sidewalk, I think that needs to be painted yellow. Because I think that's a trip hazard also.
I don't disagree.
We can do that, can't we, Jason?
When you say we, you mean you?
You mean you?
Yeah, paint.
Yeah, we got this.
You honestly did a good job.
The budget this year does not have much allotted for projects like this.
Right, but
So,
for the safety of people coming in and out
it's,
of town hall is.
we could at a later point
Yeah. So,
do this if you wanted to hold off, or if you want, it's 2,192.
yeah.
I suspect all it takes is one fall, and then he's gonna eat up $2,192.
What's our deductible insurance?
Liabilities, actually, there's no deductible on liability.
Okay. This is still a hazard.
Yeah, it's a hazard, so.
And if you want to look at it, you're more than welcome to look
Yeah.
at
After you
it.
pointed out the last meeting, I walked down, I thought,
Yeah.
yeah, this is not good.
Well, we've put, or someone just put
Yeah.
floor mats over it
Yeah, it's
to,
max, you know, you still trip over that, but.
it's not a good.
Well, my recommendation is you do this,
Yeah.
consider we discuss it at a public
Yeah,
meeting.
yeah, that's true.
I make a motion that we go ahead and repair the sidewalk.
All right, second.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Want me to go ahead again?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I'm sorry for taking up so much of your time. I've got lots of projects and I get excited about this stuff. Another idea that I want to throw past you, and this doesn't have to be decided tonight, nor are we prepared. A lot of communities have started what are called infiltration ordinances, or inspection ordinances. Obviously, that's the issue we have. I know you've heard that I for quite some time. You were on a grid order 2 years ago, specifically for I. We need to keep on track, trying to keep this water, this is actually rainwater or storm water, from getting into our sewer, into our sanitary sewer. There are several communities, specifically here in Putnam County, I know that do have ordinances. I actually provided those to, one is Clear Creek Conservancy District, which is Heritage Lake, and then the city of Greencastle has one also. I provided that to Mr. Shagley. That's the first he's seen of it tonight, but I put it in his file to kind of look over it, to see if you guys have any interest in pursuing something like that. Typically, the way it works is the only time an inspection would occur is when there is a transaction involving the sale of that property. And at that point, before the title company will close, they contact the agent to determine whether an inspection has been completed or not, and you have a licensed plumber or an inspector, it depends on how you want to set up your ordinance. Inspect, actually, the crawl in the crawl space or in the basement to make sure that you don't have downspouts or your HVAC is not hooked up to your sanitary floor drains. So sometimes you're going to find these items that are putting a lot of surface water into our sanitary sewer. And we know we're getting a lot of water, we just don't know where it is. This could help relieve that.
These are a good way of fixing it going forward.
Yeah.
And it's only,
I think we've talked about it before.
yeah, it doesn't involve going into anybody's house right now. The only time it does is if there's a sale of that property.
Not sale, transfer.
Transfer that property.
Now,
Although, yeah,
would we do a smoke test also, down?
you can, that's another way. And we've talked about that, talked to Brad about that. We have the equipment apparently and the smoke to do it. And that may be something we'll do this spring, this summer. We'll find out some of those INIs and illegal connections.
Fairly inexpensive too, right?
It is.
Chief will get a few calls on that.
Oh, yeah.
Your house is on fire.
Yeah.
But we'll know real quick. I've seen it done, and you get some people fired up pretty quick.
Yeah.
But it will find that. But
And no
before,
one knows that's happening. Oh, I didn't even know that was going on.
we would notify everybody in town. That doesn't mean they're gonna remember it, and when smoke starts coming out of their basement drain and fills their house. But before we even wasted any time, I wanted to just throw that to see if you wanted to even pursue this. I mean, there's no need for.
Well, we could do the smoke test upon the transfer, right? As opposed to doing,
Well, you could do a smoke test tomorrow, if you want.
right,
I guess that's
but, I mean, just
But this is a way,
workload.
this is a way to, and you can still do it even with this ordinance. This is a way to ensure going forward. That house is upon, is it sale or transfer? I guess we can do it either way. Transfer is a little tough to enforce.
As long as it's going through a title company, they will
They would-
actually enforce it.
Yeah. Because someone could, you know, I could quickly move.
Correct.
Whatever.
You would never know.
So it almost have to be a sale or some type of, thing that would go through a title company. And it's a way to correct things going forward.
I just think it was.
Kind of like the check valve.
Yeah, right.
Same thing. So.
I just like the idea of doing the smoke test at the same time of the transfer, that we do it. And
The only issue I would potentially have concern with that, if you're gonna do a smoke test, you're probably going to be doing several homes at one time. So you may be smoking to somebody that wasn't even transferring, selling their house,
okay.
I guess would be. I don't know, I mean, we can think about that. I'm just throwing this idea out there to see if you guys want to, you know,
I don't see
consider
what
it.
Theirs should be fixed too.
Oh, for sure.
Testing the transfer and get some others, they should be fixed too at the same time.
But it depends on what
But we-
we find wrong.
Yeah, but we probably wouldn't be notifying those people. They're gonna have to fill their house. At least when we do a smoke test, we're typically going to notify everybody on that block that it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And to clarify, it's not fire smoke.
Correct.
It's, like you'd see at a concert, that smoke. It's
Well,
not,
Wayne said they done a test down Water Street here and found 10 violations
oh, I bet it's,
Probably true.
just on Water Street east of.
all you have to do is walk around when it's raining, wait, where's the downspout?
That's the biggest problem, is when people take their downspouts into their basement and then that sump pump pumps it right into our sanitary. That's, and we know that happens. Right now, we just don't have the ability to go into somebody's house and start looking for things like that.
But this proposed type of ordinance would fix that going forward.
Yeah.
We could still notify the neighborhood to do smoke tests. We always have that, a right. But this would just be another tool going forward. And there's a transfer of that, how can that be the code, whether it's electrical, plumbing, and now.
To show IGMs we're doing something or trying to do
Absolutely.
something.
Yeah. But it's for sure showing progress, absolutely.
Then you're gonna write the ordinance?
We'll come up with an ordinance, just not with every other.
You need a motion?
When we approve it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we should approve it.
Yeah, then I get approval to start. In ordinance.
Yeah, he's got it.
Yeah.
Ready for me again?
Yes, sir.
And I apologize for taking up so much of your time tonight. The next thing is Blue Side Way. That is the sewer project over by Gary's house. We did get the permit issued. The request for quotes was sent out by email today. 25th, we should have those numbers back. So I'll update you at that point. Otherwise, everything's going fine. We've talked to Duke Energy. They're gonna have electricity out there. But, the bidding packet? Yeah, I can. But the 25th, we'll have numbers for that project. Oh, you're ready for me again? I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep waiting for you. Sewer adjustment, I do have a sewer adjustment. It's my understanding anything over 500 needs to come to council. I had address of 2 West Mill Street, had a pretty substantial underground leak. Did pay the water, just requesting an adjustment on the sewer, and the sewer adjustment was $912.63. That water, we feel confident, did not go down the sewer. We did take the average of the 3 previous months to make that determination, but the total would be $912.63. And again, we feel confident none of that went down the sewer.
Just for information, those 3 bills were $29.50 each, and this one was $9.42. So a substantial change from the normal bills at this residence.
All right. C3.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You have the, Kelly, do you want them all to sign this? Or do,
At least three,
okay.
I don't know. Whatever it says on there, I'm not sure.
Okay. Bulk water?
Bulk water, I feel pretty confident we're gonna hold on that. At the bulk water facility there on the north side of town, we're considering a new option for how water is purchased in bulk. There is a possibility of doing a credit card system. I think we're gonna have more information for you at the next meeting on that. We're down to our last 2 prepaid cards, if you're familiar with how we do it now. So we've only got 2 left and we can no longer purchase those, in my understanding. So we're looking at a different option right now. Hopefully we'll have something for you pretty soon. We've got a pretty economical option, I think, but we'll have that for you soon. So that's bulk water. I'll go on town manager vehicle. I did get a quote, and honestly, it does not matter to me what you guys decide to do as far as a vehicle. But I did get a quote, and I don't think I included these in your packets because I was expecting another quote from a Chevy dealer, and we never heard anything back from them yet. So, but I did get, Ken sent me a quote for an Explorer, and then also a F-150, and I can share those. I don't think, I'll see one out here. I don't think I had that in your packet. You can see the price for that. The Explorer was $34,991.25. The crew cab was $34,595. I was asked to get a trade-in, or some equipment, potential trade-in. Larry, I think it was you that gave me that, wasn't it? We have 4, Larry gave me 4 pieces of equipment as potential trade-in. I threw another one on there. I haven't talked to you about that yet, Larry, but we have a 1995 Chevy Kodiak dump truck that has not been used in quite some time. A 2001 F-250 with 330,000 miles, has not been moved in a year. A 2004 F-350 with 136,000 miles that does not run. Understand it's a possible oil pump. And then a 1991 AGCO Alice tractor with 5,600 miles on it, and it has not been moved in 3 years. So those are potential trade items.
Did Ken get a chance to look at or know about these vehicles?
Ken, yeah, I sent.
No, he sent me pictures of mileage on them. I haven't physically been in to look at them yet. But, hopefully before the end of the week or early next week, I'll put some numbers to you.
All right. Super.
And I'm assuming you're not wanting to take any action until you get that information. As well.
Well, yeah, we'd like to see, yeah.
Which vehicle do you prefer?
Yeah.
It honestly makes no difference to me. At least the 2 that we had from Andy Moore, the truck was red. And
Okay.
the SUV is white, I guess.
This F-150, correct?
Yeah.
I think there's a difference. The truck is a more expensive truck, but your government concessions, when you look at that, are considerably higher on the truck market. On the Explorers, you're buying government concession, it is a Explorer, you know, it's a base, fixed upper type vehicle, but it has the factory consoles in it and everything, so you're not buying a police car. The only thing it would have is a spotlight that would make it look like a police car, but other than that, it's just a regular Explorer.
Yeah.
But the government concessions are more, just not as high on the Interceptors, but you do have the durability of the bigger brakes and the suspension stuff that comes with that type of a vehicle versus just a regular, on the Explorer. Because it is considered an interceptor, but it's more of a vehicle that would be more of the type of what he would use. It has all the factory consoles in it instead of being where for a police car you'd have to put a different type of console for lighting and stuff like that. It has no lights or anything on it whatsoever. It's just a base vehicle, but it is an all-wheel drive.
Resale value speculation.
Is it better with the Ford Explorer than a pickup?
A lot of that depends on how long you're gonna keep it and miles
Well,
per
yeah,
of course. You know, trucks are definitely very popular on the market, but 100,000 miles doesn't do a lot for any vehicle. But again, depends how you use it. Police vehicle, it's just the durability because it's built for that type of use. Where the truck's just a regular retail type truck that, you know, regular people can drive. But again, if you're just driving to and from work, it really don't matter.
It really is $400 difference.
You're just more limited on the trucks because the truck market is so popular right now. Those trucks are selling pretty fast. Whether I still have that same one, I don't know. That we quoted on the police interceptor, Explorer definitely is still there right now.
Okay, it is a 21, pickup is a 20, right?
Yeah.
Right, because the government concessions are much higher right now on the 20s than on the 21s, because the 21 is a new body style. So they kind of a little tighter on that, but the concessions on the Explorers are pretty much the same. It is the 21.
Jason?
Honestly, it does not matter to me.
I think by the Explorer being a 21 or a 20, I say we buy the Explorer.
I definitely lean that way as well. And you've got, 3.3 V6 engine, it's not like a V8, but so does the gun have a V6 as well.
Yeah, I think 2.7 equal boost, if I remember right,
Yeah.
on that one.
Yeah.
You could use it. Explorer.
Yeah, and we always sell it to the police department after we're done using it.
Make a great reserve vehicle.
That's right.
To me, they're both great vehicles, and we want to drive one of them.
Well, then I guess it really wouldn't matter about trade-in, it would be the same for each vehicle.
Right.
So, I guess we could go ahead and vote on it tonight.
Yeah, the biggest on the trade-ins is, you don't have a lot there, to be honest with you. I've looked at them, a truck that doesn't run, that has I think one is a diesel, if the engine doesn't run in that, that's not gonna be much, because the diesel engine alone is about 20 grand, so if it's got a bad motor, it probably won't bring much at all to the market. The other ones, I just have to look at the mileage and stuff, but there's not a huge amount there. We'll get every dime we can for you, that's for sure.
Right. Okay. Well, can I get a motion, we go ahead and, get the.
But we gotta,
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Can we hold on a minute and
Yeah. Sorry.
see what the final price is gonna be after trade-ins and all that? Because I was told we were purchasing a vehicle, but I was supposed to find $10,000 in the budget, and this is significantly different.
Oh,
So I want to
okay.
make sure what the final number is and make sure that this is okay with our budget before we
Okay.
go ahead and just push on with this.
Yeah.
And we can do a lease on this too.
Yeah, I'd prefer not to.
No.
I'd rather have time to,
Yeah.
look things over.
If it works,
But
we
yeah, so if I
would
could
pay.
get some final numbers, yeah,
Okay.
please, before we.
And
decide.
Ken, you can get with Kelly after you look at the vehicles. Yeah.
Okay,
That
that'd be
works
great,
for you?
thank you.
Okay, we'll table this till next month. Okay, Jason, is that all you have, sir?
Was that enough?
All right. Kelly, court treasurer.
All right, at our last meeting, we had a public hearing, for the, ordinance 2021-2. It's an ordinance to reestablish the cumulative capital development fund at 5 cents per $100 of assessed value. And this month, this is basically our adoption hearing. And so I'm asking, basically I'm just asking council to go ahead and reestablish this rate, to approve this ordinance to reestablish the rate that will bring in a little more revenue for the town.
And that's at 5 cents per hundred?
Yes, and our current rate is,
No.
it'll be 5 cents.
It'll be
It's
5
it's
cents.
establishing it at 5 cents per $100 of assessed value. The current rate right now is 0.045 cents. So essentially, we're
only
raising it
raising
a half of a
cent.
penny.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
All right. Can I get a motion, we raise it a half of a cent to 5 cents?
Yeah, it's passing the ordinance, pass the ordinance.
Or pass it.
2021-2.
Ordinance, yeah.
Okay. So we need to make a motion to pass the ordinance.
Correct. Ordinance 2021-2.
Dash 2021-2. Can I get a motion to pass that ordinance?
I'll make a motion to pass ordinance 21-2.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And then we tabled the fire contract and the public safety
Yes.
fund. Dual signatures. In May of 2020, a vote was taken giving Larry Fiddler, who was then the president of the board, temporary signing authority for checks until a new clerk treasurer was appointed. There was also discussion at that time about that moving forward, they would require dual signatures on every check. When I was appointed as clerk treasurer, I was told dual signatures was what the board wanted. I was advised at that time against it from several advisors, including the State Board of Accounts, but at the time I didn't see anything wrong with it. I didn't see any harm that could come from it, and so I just went along. However, I've learned more since then, and I've come up with, I have some reasons why I don't think that this is a good idea. Number one, per state law, it's my role and responsibility to handle all the finances for the town. Now, the council directs me, and, I can't, on my own authority, write any checks. I only write checks on your authority. But ultimately, I'm responsible for that. And because of that, there are measures put in place, and there are laws governing that. I'm answerable to the State Board of Accounts. They have oversight, and there are certain protections put in place to protect the town against mistakes I might make, or, whatever might happen. State Board of Accounts, when I specifically, we sent them an email, and it was specifically asked about this question. And their response was, in 2 quotes I'm going to give you, dual signatures is, quote, setting a bad precedent, and the second quote is something they do not recommend. Also, from an internal control standpoint, I think there's unintentional consequences that we didn't foresee when we did this. I think we're opening ourselves up without realizing it. We're creating unnecessary risks. The state recognizes, let's see, there's certain checks and balances that we eliminated, basically. There's the council's role, and then there's the clerk treasurer's role, and there's checks and balances. And when you have the council involved, specifically in the bank accounts and the checking, we're losing the checks and balances that were naturally put in place. So, taking Rick's signing authority off the checks, nothing will change. He's still welcome to come in. Any of you guys are welcome to come into my office at any time. I keep I keep a record of all the checks. You're always welcome to come in. I'll just pull out the folder. You can sit and look through them. They're all in order, so you'll know everything's there. You can see the checks, and then of course I give you them in their packets every month. You get to see every check that's written. I give it to you in list form, and that's what you approve every meeting. I usually send it out on Fridays, so you have the weekend to look things over, and then you approve it, at the council meetings. So I guess just for the future of the council and the government, I think it's the best thing to do for our town.
And I agree. Any other discussion?
I think Kelly's exactly right.
Yes, I do too.
Not only that, but you're crossing a line by the town council controlling the clerk treasurer. And that's ultimately good. But
And the reasoning.
And I totally get it
why
was
we
necessary
did
at the time.
Yeah.
Because of some incidents. But I definitely think going forward, the clerk treasurer should be the only signer on that account.
Yeah. So I ask for a motion, we go back to just the same, let Kelly do the same.
Are you only gonna need minutes to take care of that?
I would think so. I think if minutes should do it, if not, maybe a letter on the town council letterhead.
Yeah.
Either one, but minutes should take care of it.
I'll just probably have to go down and take me off. right?
Yes, if I take minutes down, they should be able to
Okay.
do that. If they
Yeah,
need
'cause that's
anything
what they
else, I
did.
can get that.
That's what they did to put me on, so
Mhm.
say we do reverse.
Okay, I make a motion that we remove Rick from signing checks, and the clerk treasurer signs all checks.
Go ahead and vote.
All, second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Kelly, I'd also get a letter from Rick, just from the president, just because in theory, we are not approving these minutes until April.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you couldn't do it until April, but you could do a motion to have a letter from the president, but you can do that tonight, and you can take it to the bank tomorrow.
Okay.
You want
Just
to
a simple
write it?
letter that-
You can write it and I'll sign it.
That's fine.
No, here's the
Just a letter
pen back
that says-
now, I don't need to sign.
The letter just simply says that at the March 9th, 2021 Cloverdale Town Council meeting, a motion was made to remove the secondary signatory to the town accounts. It is passed in open meeting, and going forward, effective immediately, Kelly will be the only signer on it. Just something that simple.
Yes.
In the past, working with the First National Bank, it's a requirement that you have to have a letter from the board to take someone off or add them to the
Okay.
checking.
Okay.
That's the way it works with the fire department too.
Do
The
that.
board of directors, we have two people sign our checks, just, but we always, whenever we change anything, we have to take a letter to the bank.
All you said from the board is all members have to sign that, or just the president?
No, just, we only allow the members on the fire department board and the treasurer sign our checks.
It should be all board members. That's what it was at Stardust. All board members had to sign it.
Is that right? Well, we'll figure it out tomorrow. Yeah.
But the bank
The
will take
letter,
it.
the letter itself that we send to the bank, all the board members had to sign the letter,
Yeah.
and then we list what board members can sign the checks, or with the loans. Our checks require two signatures.
Thank
I'm just
you.
saving you a step, I know at the First National Bank, they want that letter from the board.
All right. Thank you. Anything else, Kelly? Good. Planning, easy day? Meetings.
Next meeting,
Sorry.
we'll have to wait till the next meeting,
Okay.
because I don't think we have any.
Park board, same thing.
Same thing.
Park board, I need to talk.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
You got a microphone.
For those of you that don't know, I'm John Berry.
There you go.
I am, that's right, maybe they can hear me
Yeah.
from here.
No, it'd be better if you come up here.
Okay.
We're on camera now.
Okay, all right. I'm John Berry. I'm with the president of the park board. I've been for a good while. Last summer, we weren't able to open the restrooms because of the COVID.
Right.
Okay. I need to know where we stand this year. We've got some plans coming up, but I need to know whether we're gonna be able to open the restrooms, whether we can go ahead and go planning on those activities. Looks like the COVID's slowing down. And we're getting pretty close. We need to do some things before they open,
Sure, sure. To follow, what the governor has said, I guess, that they're kind of relaxing things. How long is it gonna take to get, prepare the restrooms, let's say?
I've just got to go and give them good cleaning,
Yeah.
good disinfecting,
Well,
we stay on top of that part of it.
Yeah. I can look into it, I guess.
I don't see any reason why you couldn't do that.
Yeah, I would go ahead and start cleaning them, get them ready, maybe,
When do you normally open them?
what month, what?
Usually the 1st of March,
Oh,
March.
yeah.
So you do have heat in there?
No, there's no heat in there. And that's usually what determines it is if we have a colder winter, as long as we got the winter, we're gonna stay till it, you know, thaws out.
Supposed to turn off cold in a
Yeah.
couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there again, I mean, people should be following, you know, the distancing, but they are relaxing all that now, and the masks may not have to be worn, depending on the vaccination, if you've had it or not.
I've noticed smaller groups coming in there, you know, to use the shelter house or whatever, they've been using it all along.
Yeah,
They just didn't have any restroom facilities.
right.
And what I was basing that on is I've got Purdue Extension and the Button County Library and the Soil and Water Commission, I guess is what it is. They want to do a thing around the walk path. It's like a storybook walk. And the town of Greencastle's doing it, and the town of Rosedale, they've already got those approved, and they would like to have our permission. There'll be 20 posts set up with pages from the storybook. And you'll start at 1 and finish the story
Yeah.
at post number 20.
Right.
You know, and it's great for the kids. I
Right.
mean, it's going to be geared toward the kids to do that.
Yeah.
Before I start bringing in a group, we gotta have restroom facilities.
Sure. Yeah.
And then the Soil and Water Commission would like to do a obnoxious weed demonstration and use our park
Okay.
sometime in the summer. And I told them it all depends on whether we have restroom facilities
Yeah.
before we bring the group in.
I would think we could
I-
open them.
You know, and this is gonna sound a little sarcastic,
No.
but if you can have March Madness and have bathrooms at
Yeah.
Anchor's Line,
Exactly.
That's true.
then we can have bathrooms at Cloverdale Park.
And they're holding something right here.
Yeah,
I mean, right in Cloverdale.
I'd say you're free to go on the bathrooms.
Now, do we maybe, I don't know, need to put a sign on there, one at a time? I don't know, how many does it hold? Each one holds
It's
one?
just single-
So it's one
single
anyway?
bathrooms, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just.
And we've got them designated as men and women, we can change that.
Just, you know, no
Oh,
parties.
yeah, you put two news today too,
We're
didn't
gonna
you?
pull those off, okay?
All right,
But
I'd say go ahead.
Thank you, all right. I appreciate it as much, okay.
John? I
Yes.
have one question for you.
Okay,
I heard that the roof was leaking on the log cabin.
yes.
Have you ever got any bids or anything on
No,
that?
I haven't. We were waiting on the town to decide what we were gonna do and how we were gonna do it. Okay, whether we're gonna stay with the wood shingles, we're gonna go with the metal roof, what are we gonna do? What can we do? What
Well,
money's available, I guess,
Yeah.
you know.
well, if you can get some bids on that.
We're at a new budget year, right? And so they have some money designated to the park.
Yes, yes.
Yes, there is, yeah. The budget kind of blind, since I had just started in January doing things, so I do know that I think the park, some of the funding was cut in the park board, but I don't know. So if you bring me some quotes, we can look things over and see what we've got.
Okay. Yeah, John, if you want to do that, bring some.
The
quotes in.
board have any objections to staying with the wood shingles, the shake shingles?
What's your feeling, the shakes?
Uh,
Are they the reason the roof is leaking or?
Yeah, it's, some of the shakes are
Would the,
dried up, I think is what's happened, you know, they shrink, wood shrinks, you know.
Yeah.
would the bids on the shake or the metal, that could determine what you use too, couldn't it?
Yeah. And we could put a tar paper roof or, you know, tar shingles on it, or whatever you call it. Or do something like that, I can talk to somebody and get all three if you want.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing under the shingles except
Just shake shingles, yeah. So if we went to, go ahead, Dave.
Are we wanting to keep this building antique and?
Yes, that's what I want to make it natural.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys, if you go with anything but shake shingles, you're gonna destroy the
Right, and the
originality.
Greencastle Park, you know, they went to a tin roof on theirs, and I think it looked like hell, but if that's what it takes, you know. To be quite honest, I don't know how else to, present myself, but it's, you know,
Do you
it just
think-
doesn't look natural, so.
Do you think that all the shakes have to come off?
No, they're just going to have something added to it,
Gonna have to repair what's there?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it may take 4 or 5 shakes, I don't know, until somebody gets up there and they told me to stay off the ladder, so, you know.
Yeah,
Like a,
yeah.
you put like a metal roof under it and put
the wood shingles on top to preserve the look.
And they do make a roofing that looks like shake shingles. And I haven't even looked into that, because I'm sure that's gonna be expensive, because that's a designer roof, you know.
I'm just thinking if you leave the shake shingles for the looks, or get something underneath it that actually does the protection.
And
It's
that's,
gonna last a little
well,
while.
let me ask Don, can that be done?
A metal roof?
Put a metal roof underneath the shake shingles?
Not very good.
Yeah, now you're
You
talking
have
about
to do the
doing
metal
two.
roof over.
Yeah,
that's,
and you're gonna be nailing through the middle.
I would think, and I agree to keeping the authentic,
Yeah.
keep it authentic, but it sounds like it just needs a couple of repairs, and considering our unknown budgetary issues, I would say just get a quote to fix it.
And I think you can probably spray those shakes like every year or every other year
Mm-hmm.
with something that will preserve them and keep them from shrinking quite as bad. I'm speculating.
Yeah, and that could be done when we treat the site, you know, the
Right,
logs.
right.
And that's another thing, one of the logs is gonna have to be replaced on the backside, one of the timbers, and that timbers are expensive, but, you know, I'm looking into that too, see if I can get one donated
Okay.
like we did when we put it up, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, by all means, get some bids in and
Okay,
see
all
what
right.
we can do.
Well, I would like to stay with the shake shingles.
Okay, yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
What's that?
They're very expensive.
Yeah,
Remember when we put it on there, remember, I went got some over at, Menards over at Cloverdale.
yeah,
And they're expensive, and then plus, half of them ain't good when you get them.
right, it's
But
hard
I
to
done them back up and took them on back that we didn't use. Of the good, the bad ones.
right.
So you couldn't use them anyway, I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Ron and Rod kind of
I saved some money.
spearheaded that building,
Yeah,
Saved some money on that, you remember that, John?
yeah,
all right.
okay.
They're
Thank you,
very
John.
expensive.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Senator Ford, did you hear from him? I thought he was gonna be here tonight.
He's coming.
Thursday.
Thursday.
We'll be here Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay, David will be here Thursday though. Okay.
What about Kaufman,
Thursday.
Okay, good. All right, redevelopment, meeting schedule change, I guess I jumped the gun on that one, didn't I? We already did it, okay. Farm bid is in. Does everybody need to look at this?
Just read it.
Okay, bid for the farm property. Cummings Farms is prepared to offer $700 for the 7 acres disclosed in the packet received. We have liability insurance and will no-till all acres farmed. First payment of $350 will be brought to the town hall May 15th, and the second payment will be delivered the 15th of November. And it's got your contact information on it. So we need to get a
Is
motion.
that the only bid?
It's the only bid, yes.
Okay.
So, can we get a motion to accept this
Same
offer?
one that usually bids on.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to accept the bid for $700.
Okay, second.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Who's the bid from, may I ask?
Yeah, didn't I say that? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Cummings Farms.
Hang on. No problem.
Okay, AIM membership.
Yes, this is an organization that they work on behalf of municipalities. A lot of municipalities are members. In past history, Cloverdale has been, and most recent, the last couple of years, we have not been members. They offer a bunch of training. They lobby on behalf of municipalities at the State House. However, the dues are $1,735, and that's just for 1 year. I've tried looking, they do have the clerk treasurer school, which I intend to go to as soon as they offer it. They usually offer that on a yearly basis. But if you're a member, the cost is $100. If you're a non-member, it's $150. So you're only looking at a difference of $50. They also, every 4 years, they offer training for town councils, elected officials like that, so when the new people are elected, you can take training courses. But there was no price difference whether you're a member of AIM or not a member of AIM to take those classes. So I will tell you, everybody that I've talked to says we should be a member and they recommend it. But financially, I can't see any justification for it.
Yeah, if it doesn't cost
So
anything.
I don't know. I'll tell you that Susie, Bass, Jan Alexander, Jason, they all said that we should be a member, but,
I'm a member.
You what?
I'm a member of it.
Okay.
Because as Kelly made reference to, they're watching what's going on in Indianapolis for, our best interest. And Scott was deal, sure, we wouldn't have to do it, because we're gonna do it anyway, and we're gonna benefit, but, is that right, fair? I don't know. They also do offer a lot of good, there's some great listservs you can get on, and just kind of interesting to see and, see the questions that other communities are having, and then, of course, everybody's chiming in on what they think is the right answer. And it's just a good way of kind of, one, finding out answers to questions you don't know, and two, it's also good to get reassurance that you're doing something right. And both have a tremendous value in my opinion. And we are a good-sized community. I think it's a necessary expense. And besides being a member of AIM, that's my only affiliation. There's no incentive for me to get you to join, but I do believe there is some value to this organization. Not only to Kelly, but to you as a town board member, as well as to Jason and Steve and everybody else.
so I do have access to the listserv. I'm a member of ILMCT, it's a clerk treasurer group, and it's through AIM, it's kind of a subsidiary of AIM, and the membership was significantly cheaper, and that allows me access to the membership through the listserv so I do get that benefit already.
Who's members, they only get 3 or 4 brochures a year.
When you talk about the training they get, it's only a certain time period for
Yes,
council
they offer,
members?
yes.
It's a
And that was
one-day thing, or?
I wanted to say it was a week. Oh, either 3 days or a week long.
Is this online or in Indianapolis?
It depends, I think. I think in the past it's been in person, but with COVID, things have changed, so I'm not sure. But they said the next one would be, I think, till 2024 for council members.
That's the best way.
Training or, for town or council members, is it until 2024?
That's when the next council member training is, yes, after the next election.
We were members, we only got 3 or 4 brochures from them a year, just brochures.
Well, Kelly has access to the information with her current subscription that she's involved with. It's kind of an expensive investment for a $50 savings for your class. I don't think we have the money to spend on it right now. Especially if they're not doing council training for 4 years.
I think we pay for your training anyhow.
Yes, my training comes out of town budget.
Well, sounds like we don't want to do the member right yet, but, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it is an annual thing, so we'll have opportunity again next year.
You'll
If we
plenty
think
of
we missed out.
Plenty of opportunity.
All right. Let's see, any old business?
Hey, Rick, I will tell you, I got a
Yes,
message
sir.
from Bryce Howells was aware that he got voted on, so he's
Good?
ready to get started.
You dealt with him, yeah, I'm sure you have. Thank you.
I know he's really wanting to get involved.
Good.
So.
Good. All right. If there's no old business, call this meeting adjourned. well, she's here. Oh, it's entitled, no. Oh, anybody here leave any glasses?
No, we had approved the bid.
Okay, what's, yeah.
We didn't have it on the camera in time.
They've been here for months.
Yeah, they are prescriptive.
But they've been here at least 3 months, so I'll have her donate them.
We approved, is this the ADA? Okay, I've heard grumbling about that. No, I'm not.
Okay, he was supposed to come in and see you.
Okay, sorry.
The bid,
Okay.
I will reach out.
Have a good one, guys.
I'll ask her, I might have to resend you.
Yeah, I got it.
You're on redevelopment, right?
Okay.
Is that what it was?
I think that was like a year
They
ago.
want to do it every
Yes, yeah, let me ask if I need to, since I just did it like the end of last year.
Later on.
How that works.
Hear about that? I'm not familiar with it.
No, he ain't gonna do that.
Okay, John Boy.
You will. I will reach out to Scott.
So do I need to re-swear in?
Planning.
So get back to the ranch. Well, it's to be expected under the circumstances.
At least the weather's warming up. Like, you think better and better.
He needs.
The weather
Oh.
gets a little later.
You don't have it.
Now, that helps.
See you next week.
I feel pretty confident I got it. I don't know.
Should be. Well, shouldn't
Okay, he said I do, so I've got a count right here.
I gave her something to do. See, for example, really tough. That's maybe a lot more.
Yeah, well, she had about an hour. She had about an I guess you do.
Okay, look that over, make sure you're.
I think it's gonna be said that.
She hasn't been.
And the one after it would be.
May 6th?
The planner.
Yeah.
In here.
It
looks like it's really done all for you out of our.
Right, thank you.
This is our.
Watching.
I think I finally got, figured out what I can rely on and what I can't. I pulled this out of this book, which we're fairly up to date on it.
Did you get it from, Disney?
She did at work, and you're right hand.
I've got theirs as well. Then they both
As an elected official
But within regards to
development division
It's a guy.
of the town of
then
Cloverdale,
the
to
transportation.
affirm
I guess he.
that I will support
For a
the
while.
Constitution
Yeah, I got a couple things going
of the
on.
United States
No, just turn
and
it
the
back.
Constitution
This, I just need probably some direction.
and that I will faithfully,
He's wanting to know how quickly he can get it.
impartially,
To me, it looks like
and
most of this.
diligently discharge my duties.
Well, I can't tell if some of these meetings are actually required. He wants to read on that thing quickly. You know, some of all these meetings are actually required unless we're actually changing.
Do you need to get a copy of the
I
journals?
mean, I hate to, it'll go up for you.
Don't worry
No,
about
I've got meetings all day tomorrow.
Oh, okay. All right.
We'll see you really
See ya.
through that. I think a quick chat with him.
Kiss the dog that slapped the wife, was that?
I don't want to give him
If
incorrect.
you can get away with that.
It ain't gonna work.
To be like, well, I don't, I mean, there's definitely some meetings that we're required.
See ya. Have a good week.
I'll see you. 60-day requirements, and I'm not sure whether they're actually required or not,
Yeah.
if there's nothing to be changed, so I just,
I'll take it.
clarification on that.
Yep.
Hey, Jason. But that's something I'm gonna.
See you Thursday.
Good. The kickoff meeting is this Thursday.
Yes.
We will still have a meeting in March on the 4th.
Thank you, Larry.
Yes, sir. And 7.
Painless meeting, wasn't it?
Pretty much.
I've always heard you guys had great meetings around here. Pretty important meeting.
That was 12, 13 years ago.
You guys bored me to death now. I came down here for some excitement. I'm not getting any. No, let's not go back to that.
That's how the sidewalk got messed up as well.
Probably.
Well, one board member.
David really appreciates this.
Yeah.
So we can get some stuff moving here.
I'm not sure how that worked.
Yeah,
Crazy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we'll see you later.
Be careful.
Jason, Brian Mainers, if you don't mind penciling him in for the planning, BZA planning commission, he would like to be on it. And I'll appoint you next year, you know what I mean?
So are you on the water board?
No.
No. Larry?
Larry.
You're gonna be there Thursday.
Thank you.
We did.
I don't know, I was thinking not. It's, when is it?
At 3 o'clock.
At 3, okay.
Yeah.
I can do that. I think we were talking about, I mean, all these boards, they should just appoint their own secretaries.
Oh, no, I'm not saying be there for notes or just,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
just for,
Oh,
informational
just-
purposes.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, that's all.
absolutely.
oh yeah, no official duties.
Okay.
No.
It's the new members that bring cookies and
You
meetings.
work in Denver? I need to get a hold of, what do you do here? Are you a tech or?
Oh, I'm a residential account executive.
Go.
Yes.
You're a big-
And I will call you, look at.
Okay, no, that's.
And,
I got,
One other thing on that.
I'll talk to you. Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're not selling the TV channels anymore.
Oh, no, right.
We're paying $230-some.
They may have
all we
reached
want
out,
to
they
get.
asked for their contact
And
information
TV.
and all that, so.
But they're saying they're not renewing any TV.
You don't want to.
Well, we do, but I thought I heard they're not renewing any TV channels. Hello?
They must know somebody.
They're gonna build way sometime in 22.
Here's what you should do. The internet we offer is fiber optic center.
Yeah, it's,
You know,
we
we
got
got
some
some
programs.
You should.
Well, that email, they still wasn't nasty.
No, I know.
Yeah, I mean,
Start streaming.
I just don't get how.
But it was to get us all
Right here on Water Street.
Yeah.
I mean, I've already got it in Denver.
You already have internet service.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
really don't
within
see
that.
off. Did they turn
Yeah,
theirs off or was
and
it
you're
off the
concerned
meeting?
local-
Because I didn't turn them on.
Yes.
they were all on.
I have them now.
I'm 50-50 whether this actually went out. On the bottom, it said.
Where would it
Yeah.
So was it on the,
Well, I went
Yeah.
to Facebook to find it, I was also
Is
texting
it
with
Facebook?
If you go to their website.
YouTube, I mean.
it was,
YouTube.
it was not live on YouTube? I
It was
checked.
not.
Get in your zip code and it tells you all the channels you get.
Okay.
So,
It was showing at the bottom,
It's
YouTube.
around $60 a month.
Yeah, it
so
wasn't.
I still have.
I checked on my phone.
Well,
And the whole time I asked.
Lucky you're here tonight.
Never.
Because it was red on the far left
So we
side.
have that.
And I would have assumed it would go green now it was on, but I asked Samantha if that was, if it says under red or green, and she said red.
And that's why we're getting away from.
And it was showing recording the whole time I had it, and it was also showing at the bottom, it said
We
YouTube.
stopped raising the prices as much as we could. And
We only made 5 people mad at that.
that's pretty much
What
it.
is it?
If that's all we make mad,
Change the
Now,
service.
that's not true, because I was following some different Facebook groups,
Just internet.
and there's quite a bit of excitement around this new town manager.
There's
And I was expecting a pretty large view of it,
59 to 79.
upwards of 7 or 8.
There's been about 11 to 17
You'll have to go
people
get your own
watching it.
subscription.
That's more than I would expect, that's.
I think the January meeting, there's 30 views.
I just, are you serious? No.
Definitely go.
30 in January.
How did I not pick up on that?
Brian said 30 in
But
January.
we gotta get rid of it.
Wow.
30
I
something.
mean, I think that was after it was supposed to do it, it's not live, but
Yeah, I don't have.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, after recording. And we may have it, because I think it's recorded, so we can still, we should be able to upload it and put it out if someone wants to watch it. If I record it. Never saying it was recording.
I will.
Oh, well, which is,
All right.
that's even when you broadcast it live on YouTube,
Call customer service.
as soon as it's over,
It's
it's not available for a while. It's
Oh,
like
it's not.
24 hours before it
They-
shows
they
up.
close caption it.
Like Kathy
Yeah.
Morgan.
Really?
Really?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I guess they check it for
Customer
content.
service.
There's got to be some way,
Okay.
Anybody in customer
if
service
they,
to get rid of the clip. But.
well, they're taking time to close captions, probably, you know,
Right.
that's why it's
Yeah, that
24
sounds
hours.
good.
Yeah.
All right.
Or maybe there's some reason there.
I mean, usually by Wednesday, the next morning when I get on to do it, it's usually there.
Two things, one's like $5.99 a month
Yeah,
for the library,
that's probably.
and then the
definitely-
$64.
Well, our IT guy was supposed to be here tonight, and we thought he was gonna do it, and then we figured, we probably figured it out at the last minute, I'm still not 100% sure, but.
We told Sam we'd be fine, we didn't need her.
Most locks came.
We'll get there.
And they went.
And they took those, they added local channels to it, and that's what you got.
And I decided we do minutes, you can make it up anyway. That's what.
Well, I tell you what, sometimes like, I was like, where was I? Because I'll go back the next morning and watch the minutes, and I'm like,
Isn't,
it's like, what was I doing over there?
yeah, if you got the internet to support it, the fiber.
Okay, I'm gonna go home. Good to see everybody. I'll see you Thursday. Good to see you. We have fiber.
Rick,
I need to talk to you. We can wait till Thursday, I guess. You got a minute?
They're gonna drop us on TV anyhow.
Oh, yeah, I just need the ordinance signed and then we're
Rick,
good.
the only thing,
YouTube.
the only thing I have real quick, you said you wanted to
YouTube
put
or Hulu.
Brian down.
Brian Hayner's on the
One of those two
planning
subscriptions.
Oh, my.
commission.
My concern with that, it's supposed, well, I guess you can make this argument,
Just Google it.
it's supposed to be a town-related
And it tells
employee.
you all the channels you got, okay.
Now,
You gonna do that?
seeing that he's married to a town employee, maybe that qualifies.
Do what?
No, I thought it was open for anybody.
In that appointment, the one that was left, it was supposed to be a town-related employee, so it could be another board related. Well, that's what I'm saying, maybe, I don't care if you wanna stretch it that far.
I don't think it is related.
What's it technically say?
I forget the term, but it's like a town employee or a town affiliated person. Yes, sir.
Can we switch how the other folks are on?
Well, that's why
You
I'm
know what I
looking,
mean?
I was looking to see about
You don't do it
price.
right now, but yeah. see
Was it for
see if
planning?
it'll fit in there somehow.
Now, there's been some that's been on two different.
What if we move Bryce down to, well, he's not a town employee, but that makes sense.
Who is it you want to appoint?
Brian,
Oh, okay.
he's one to get on the planning commission, but
Is it a 1 year or 3 year?
4 years.
4 years. I'd say spouse, well, no,
Yeah.
well, hold on, let's make a deal.
okay.
So your term's up in 24, end of 24. Kelly, when do you run again?
If I run again, it'll be, well, I have 3 full years, so what's this, 21,
24.
24 is when I would,
Brian, just gonna make her run.
Yeah, so, pretty simple here, brother. How bad do you want to be on this commission?
No, I just thought it was a general opening. If it's gonna be town affiliate, that's fine.
If it's town, I mean,
I'll find another one.
There is a town affiliation, so, well,
Yeah, I don't remember how it reads, but
yeah.
let's take a look at it. We'll take a look.
well,
And
it
see if
says
there's something else.
the municipal
Well,
legislative body shall appoint 3
that's what-
persons who must be
I read
elected
it.
or appointed
Do you still want to
and
read
4
all that?
citizen members.
That's where the fun's gonna be.
Well, I think we got me, Gary, and Larry, David, and Scott.
I don't school board, is it?
Yeah.
Who's on planning? We got Rachel,
Well,
James,
Sydney,
Roy.
James, Roy.
We'll take a look at it, we'll find a way.
Yeah, yeah, we'll figure something out.
Well, from the sounds of it, Roy may not be on it long. If his health isn't, it sounds bad, but if his health isn't good, it may not be on it much longer. And that's a citizen appointment, and it's a council president.
They're gonna go out the front door so it won't trip on them.
No, it's been publicly announced if there's a problem, now's the time to fall.
Yeah, there you go, you better hurry up and
Well,
call.
you got to call it off. I put some cards out there, so.
You're a personal injury.
You're like an ambulance chaser.
Have you seriously fallen?
Have you been run over by a semi truck that carries $4 million insurance?
Yeah.
The meeting went very well.
I think my baker's wife analogy, if they can have a March Madness, we can open a bathroom
Yeah.
in Cloverdale.
Did you talk to Daniel lately?
Not recently. I mean, it's probably been a month since we've gone back and forth on stuff.
Is this kind of open for a minute?
You didn't talk to Rick on the
We haven't heard anything. By now, they should have been notified of what they owe.
So Jason,
So we'll see.
Oh.
should the camera still be on?
Thursday.
The camera's on.
Oh, it's on.
I
See the screen?
Well, this is off.
Oh, you can see it, yeah.
So I think that must be off.
But there might be a.
I mean, it may be on, but I don't think, it's definitely not flagging.
Well,
Because this is off.
You belong
I
to
guess
the
you could
cover,
get involved.
could have belonged.
We don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
Go now.